Hi, my name is Leah Lovelight, and welcome to Reveal Microdose Conversations, designed to support you in your journey of radical self-acceptance and empowerment as a woman. We hope you enjoy the magic. All right, so welcome. My name is Leah Lovelight Michael. I am the facilitator for Reveal Retreats and host of Reveal Microdose Conversations. And today, with great honor, I get to introduce and share with you the magic of Lizzi Juda. So Lizzi is a teacher of mine. I look to her for mentorship. I have deep respect for the work that she's doing in this world because she is cutting edge of stretching people and bringing us closer together. And so it is an honor to introduce you to Lizzi, who is a 58-year-old Mojo sparkling pixie who loves sprinkling her magic fairy dust everywhere she roams. She feels more wild, free, creative, earthy, sexy, and powerful than ever before. She is a teacher, a healer, a trancer, a dancer, a mother, a musician, and I love this, a love revolutionary. Lizzi has been leading groups and experiences for over 25 years, and her experiences are truly magical. I can attest to that myself. She explores sex positive polyculture and for the last 10 years, and she brings expressive and healing sensual experiences to the sheltered town of Missoula, where we are both from. She knows who she is, and she knows what she brings, and she is bringing it as she can. So Lizzi, thank you so much for being here. And I would love to just give opportunity if there's anything else you would like to add to that beautiful, magical, danceful introduction of you.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing I would say is I just feel outrageously blessed in this life I get to live. It's really so privileged and so yummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely say that I feel that when I'm around you. Like it is, you bring the life of abundance forward anytime I get to be in the presence of your company. There's a richness that comes and a playfulness that comes and this vitality that comes. And it's part of the reason why I really wanted you to be part of this microdose conversation, because you have a way of truly being wildly alive. You are exactly who you are, and you bring yourself with such radiance. And the thing that inspires me and really calls me forward is your connection into your sensuality and sexuality. Like it challenges me and inspires me to grow and stretch and see how much more bolder I can be. And so thank you for that. And I would love just to ask you, how do you feel like these types of qualities, being wildly alive, celebrating who you are, your sensuality, your sexuality, how does that contribute to either self-care or self-love?
Such a beautiful question. And thank you for such a beautiful reflection of what I bring and who I want, or what I love bringing, I guess. And well, I think, as you said, I'm 58, and I have been on a journey to discover self-love since I was 20. I crashed hard when I was 20 and have just been piecing together how to inhabit my body and bring forth what I'm here to bring, and to accept and love myself and be my own primary partner and lover. Yeah, it's been a very beautiful, long, slow process of loving myself. And the more I can love myself and allow myself to be imperfect and to be messy and authentic. And I often say I fling myself blindly into the world. Like I'm not very careful anymore. I mean, in some ways I'm careful, but I just bring it, and hopefully it lands well. And if it doesn't, someone who doesn't resonate with me will find other people to resonate with. But I'm not going to keep trying to tailor myself to make sure everyone else around me is comfortable, because we're way off track, and we have a lot of work to do to get back on track with self-love and aligning with our highest expression of ourselves.
Yeah. There's a few little nuggets in there that are hard not to want to tease out. What I really appreciate about what you're saying right now is that it's a journey. It's not something that just happens instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I love about what you're sharing is that I think a lot, especially women, and I would say men too, we often think about we got to find this external person to bring wholeness into our life. And what you shared of being your primary partner and your primary lover and coming exactly as you are with no excuses. And if you like it, great. If you don't, awesome too. What I like about that and I appreciate about that is that when we get to be our own primary playmate, life becomes so much more rich. And that's when the wildly alive does come. And that's when we do get to celebrate ourselves. And that is when we probably are more comfortable within our sexuality and our sensuality, because we are me. I'm me and you are you, and this is who we are. And there's no questions about that. There's no mental narrative that can go on, because we are representing ourselves exactly how we be. So I really appreciate that reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the more that we can drop into the sensations of our bodies and the knowing of our bodies, the more we can follow that thread of wild aliveness and of pleasure and of joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where you're going right now, before we hit record on this video, we had talked about the essentials of what it's like to come together. We're connecting, obviously, in this electronic world, but there is power when we come together. And I think what you are so masterful at facilitating is the awakening of the body. And so what might you say to an individual who is still kind of stuck in their head and aren't able to access their body? Where's a good place for somebody to begin? Because maybe they don't want to go straight into the come to your senses sensual experience. Maybe they want to try out an improv, which you are also a beautiful facilitator of. So what is something that you would say to an individual that's wanting to come into their body, to sense their body, but just doesn't know how to begin?
It's a beautiful question. I guess it would start with breath, just noticing your breath entering and exiting your body. And I talk to people, especially men, quite often about putting YouTube videos on or Spotify playlists or whatever, and just letting yourself move and loosen and sway and warm your body up in the privacy of your own home.
Yeah, so putting on music in your home and letting yourself move, and know that we are all unique. We are all absolutely imperfect, and we get to show up exactly how Creator made us. I'm not supposed to be like you, Leah, although I would love to be more like you. But this is what this is how I was created. So what is it that wants to come through me, even if it's wonky or weird or off colored or whatever, that it's okay for us to be who we are and express ourselves as we are.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so just to keep practicing a little bit helps to loosen the ever vigilant brain that's wanting to make sure that we're safe. It's like just finding little ways to keep stepping into the unknown, challenging ourselves, doing something that scares us just a little bit every day.
Yeah.
Stretching that, all the conditioning that we put on ourselves and that culture has put on us.
So in that, one of the things that you are, I would say I look to you almost as like an expert. I don't know if you claim that title, but in that getting rid of the conditioning, we are conditioned to have a lot of shame and a lot of like resistance around our sensuality and our sexuality. And I know one of the big parts about Reveal that is important for us is that awakening of the vitality within us. And so as we learn to navigate this undressing of the shame, especially when it comes to our sensuality or our sexuality, is there anything that you might share that would support somebody who's trying to navigate that sort of transition in life?
Well, again, I would just invite people to seek out what brings them pleasure and practice on their own. One of my main tools is just like slowly rubbing my fingertips on different surfaces. And I find that so pleasurable and so satisfying and exhilarating. So just, the more that I can, what's the word? Create experiences within my body to help my body remember that it is here for pleasure. We are here for pleasure. We're here to experience the world with our five senses, to really take in a mouthful of food or of tea or coffee or whatever and just savor the flavor of it. And I think the more we become adept at doing that with ourselves, then it feels more natural to do it with others. And so you keep talking about come to our senses, and that's an experience that's held once a month at Sacred Ally in Missoula. And it's a group of people that come together to explore our senses and our sensuality in community. And it's not about sexuality, although the erotic, playful energy can definitely come in to the experience, but it's not about, going straight for sexuality. So it's just, it's a very safe place to start experiencing the beauty of what our bodies can do with each other and find the safety in that.
Yeah, I love a distinction that you're making right now that I don't know if I fully understand the difference between the erotic energy and sexualness or sexuality. And so, just for listeners, how might we distinguish between those two similar and yet different experiences that can happen within us?
Mm-hmm. I was just explaining this the other day to a woman who I was telling her that I've started gathering women to do oily massage on each other. and because we're not getting enough touch in our lives and we're just so hungry for it. And she was like, ah, like, don't even say that. And I'm like, so what is it that scared you? She said, how do you keep the sexual out of it? And I said, we don't touch genitals, and we don't kiss, and we don't lick. We just touch in a sensual, healing, oily, deep, delicious way. But I think, we definitely come out of that experience a little like drunk on oxytocin, and our hearts are way open and our bodies are open and pulsating with life, but we're not going to it's erotic, but we're not going to the genital stimulation, or, we don't have a goal of that. And I think so often that's what happens with our sensuality. It gets hijacked by, let's finish this goal. Let's make sure that we check the box of, we both got to explode into ecstasy and now we can be done. Instead of just, what if we don't go to the explosion, but we just go to how loving and connected can we be together?
Yeah. Do you think that in that practice of building the vitality of the erotic energy and not going to the finish line, because let's be real, most of us are like, get to the finish line, get things done. Do you think that in that practice of the buildup and not completion, does that expand a person's ability for pleasure? Could it expand the capacity for play? Like, in that sense, if that's something that somebody's trying to re-engage in their sexual livelihood without wanting to go all the way, is that a good practice that you would recommend to people?
Sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, it is hard when you're feeling really charged and turned on and excited to not go over to the finish line. But if there's a way to spend tons of time with touch and slowly evolving. I had an experience recently where I was with a partner who I hadn't seen for quite a while, and he came into my space in a really strong way. I wouldn't say aggressive, but he had a mission and he wanted to prove himself to be a good lover. And, he's kind of a little macho. And I was like, you need to back way up and we need to slow way, way down. I said, I promise we'll get to wherever it is you want to be getting to, but we have to take it in my way, my pace, and he was so thankful because he wasn't even aware that he was that strong, had that strong an agenda. He was so thankful to just slow down and connect and talk and giggle and touch, and it ended up being a really beautiful experience. But yeah, I think just slowing down and really playing with each other and connecting heart to heart, and yeah,
It feels like a deeper level of intimacy.
it's very much about intimacy.
Yeah, it feels like that's almost the word that like it's that I want to bring forward here is this is a way to become more intimate, not just with yourself, because you're able to express the slowdown, but intimate with your other partners, because then they're like, oh, you're communicating what you want. And I think that in the work that I've done with you, Lizzie, over the last year or so, that's something that I've seen transform in my own personal relationship, because I am a slow mover, and up until actually practicing communication within your frameworks, I didn't know how to communicate that for myself. And so My own intimacy has flourished in a way that I would have never known to be possible had I not learned how to ask for the slowdown, for that more gentle, sensual touch. Because for me, that's what brings aliveness. So I love that this conversation got us to that outcome, because it's truly where my life is transformed in working with you. So okay, so just in honoring of time, because we do like to keep these as a micro conversation, what is one tip or tool that you could share with somebody who's interested in coming back into their body and trying to navigate from their head back into their body? What's something that you would say to just start to play in this idea?
Yeah, I mean, I can think of so many, but one is just to start by putting your hand on your heart, and you can also put a hand on your belly. And just by putting your hand on your heart, you actually release oxytocin into your own system. And oxytocin is the bonding chemical that's released in breast milk and that bonds the mother and child. It's also released in sexual experiences. So you can just soothe yourself, you can rock yourself, you can, I often find myself like, it's okay. Like as if I had a little baby here, just gently letting my belly and my heart know that I'm safe. I think it's a lot about safety. It's like, and it's also like you're just fine the way you are. It's okay. You're gonna get through this. It's okay to relax. It's
Yeah,
okay to be who you are in this moment.
yeah, I love that.
And then if you want to just take it into the sensual, you can just take your finger tip and just go very slowly along your shirt collar, and just, there's just so much pleasure to be had in so many, many ways. So,
I love that. So much pleasure to be had in so many, many ways. I love that. So if somebody wants to work with you, or come to one of your classes, how might they be able to find you?
well, I am on Facebook,
Okay.
and I also run a nonprofit in Missoula called Turning the Wheel Missoula, and we are on Facebook as well. There's a Turning the Wheel website we're part of a national organization.
Okay.
And I teach quite a bit at Sacred Ally in
Yeah.
Missoula. I
Yeah.
teach the shamanic trance and dance and come to our senses and Goddess Temple and Aphrodite Rising and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then
Beautiful.
last thing, Tapestry is once a month, which is a really amazing, playful community gathering. So
Yes. Yeah, I can speak to that one for sure. It's such a fun way to come and just play and just to be humorous and just to not take yourself so dang seriously. So it's a really good way to forget everything else except for what's here right now in this moment. That's what tapestry is for me. It's such a presence, and a present as well. So well, thank you so much. I will include links to your upcoming events when I share this video out. And so if people do want to find you, they'll be able to access you more easily. And so is there anything else before we close down this conversation that you would like to share?
well, the last thing that just popped in is that I'm also going to be teaching on Whidbey Island this
Fun.
summer, June 17th through 24th. And it's a really beautiful summer camp experience of art and movement and community and beautiful food and beautiful nature and singing. And it's just so fun and glorious. So
I love that. And
um, I'll give you the link for that as well.
Perfect. And for those that don't know, Whidbey Island is very close to Seattle, Washington. So if you're watching this from that side, it's easy to get to. It's beautiful. If you're a scuba diver, you can maybe throw in some scuba diving there too. So, all right. Well, thank you, Lizzie, so much for your time, your energy, your presence, and your yes to this space. Thank you to the world and the electronic field out there that is with us and learning with us and expanding with us. We're going to say goodbye for now. So I'll go ahead and end the recording on Facebook. Thank you so much for being here.